And they knew it was something he had been struggling with. And so they refused to do it. And they're the only team, as to my knowledge, in the history of baseball to do that.
Like, that was a change of tradition. Like, wouldn't it be cool if that change was like a hurtful tradition could spread out to other teams, saying, hey, we also have a few team members who are
When we
struggling.
think about places that drink alcohol, think about some of the countries that are big alcoholic drinkers.
Germany.
Besides
Ireland,
Germany, Ireland. Ireland's getting real close because it's happened there too.
Britain.
England, Britain. And that area is where I want to concentrate. I forget the name of the preacher, but they had a revival there.
Cornwall.
No. Cornwall was a German.
Huh? Cornwall is also
I think it's a different
Hey,
preacher
get
though.
off your phone.
I think it might have been Moody. I don't remember. I have to look.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the province or something.
There was a revival in Europe, predominantly in England, Ireland, parts of France. They closed all the pubs down.
When was this?
1800s, I believe. 17, 1800s, where drinking alcohol was even more widely accepted. They shut it down.
Because it was more along the lines of they actually needed to back then.
Sort of.
Less than it is
more
now.
blurred, but yeah.
More than
Yeah,
it is
now
now.
there's absolutely no need for it. We have clean water at our disposal.
So it was
If
kind
you-
of
if
like
you don't-
the American Prohibition.
And if you think you can use the excuse, well, I'm on a desert island, all I have is this bottle of whiskey, drinking that whiskey will actually kill you faster because it'll make you dehydrated.
What if you get salt water and get the whiskey and mix it together? Will that cure
Then,
salt water?
no,
No,
it's-
it's- What
then
makes,
you'll like
what
drinking
makes,
vomit and
yeah,
explode.
what makes the salt water bad is actually the high salt content.
Exactly, yeah.
So if you just mix it with alcohol, the salt content's still
Well, I
there.
was
But if
hoping
you
that would make
put it through
away.
if you put it through the reverse osmosis process to remove the salt, then there's no chance of bacteria anyway.
Mhm.
But I mean, if you have to build up a large stock
So-
of it, you like add a drop of alcohol.
Now, so back to my point. You're married one day, you and your wife or your husband, you don't want to have a glass of wine. And for the record, you naturally don't, period. For the record. If you wanted to have a glass of wine between the two of you, I think the proper place for that is in your own home. Because then you run the very smallest risk of causing somebody else to stumble. And I don't think you should display it for that same reason.
It's like ordering beer at
Yeah.
Applebee's is bad.
I would
Applebee's.
I do.
Why not?
And what's the point of that alcohol? Oh, I just like having a beer with mine. What it really is I need this to relax. And anytime we have to say that, there's a problem. And the Bible and God calls us to be a people set apart, to be so different from the world that people cannot help but know you're a Christian. They know you're a Christian because you are so different. And because alcohol is so accepting and it does so many bad things, has so many negative consequences, that's something easy for Christians to step back from. Now, can anything you do cause a brother to stumble? Pretty
Yeah.
much, right? Almost anybody can use an excuse. However, alcohol is one of those things,
That's
it's a ready excuse. You know, it's easy. Well, you can't really love God if you drink alcohol.
I mean,
And then a lot of people say, well, no, Jesus loves me just the same. I'm just as good as Christian as anybody else. Because even though I have a few beers because Jesus drank wine. Well, I don't think it works that way. Now, I do think for a Christian, there is, and Catholics do this, and I think there are some purists that do that
we drink wine.
or naturalists. Yeah. But I like to hunt. Let's say I shoot a deer, right? And I have it mounted. But one of the ears is all screwed up. A lot of people would want that ear replaced so it looks like a perfect mount, right? I'm different. I want that ear all screwed up mounted just the way it is. Because that's the deer I shot. That's the way it happened. I'm more of a naturalist. I want it to be the way it really was. And so some people in their communion is the same way. And they'll have that little sip of alcohol because they drink wine and unleavened bread. Now, we eat a form of unleavened bread and grape juice. Now, in all fairness, if you really want to get to the nitty-gritty, our grape juice is probably closer to their wine than our wine is to their wine. But the fact is,
How do you just think mix half and half?
you could. And the Catholic Church, when they do communion, it is alcohol. And it's the priest that actually chooses what wine they use. Because I've heard some are a little stiffer than others. But that's
Jack Daniels wine.
well, I had a friend, he went to Georgia, and they went and had communion at a Catholic church. And he's like, it definitely was a lot stronger than what I have here. But that was purely up to the priest, wherever, that could have been what year or what vineyard they came from. There's other things that come into that. Now, does alcohol have a purpose here still? So it does have a
But it's
purpose.
not drinking alcohol.
It's not drinking alcohol.
You
But,
drink really
you know, one of the funniest countries to try prohibition, and I think so ironic, is Russia. During the same time we did prohibition, you think Russians
What is prohibition?
Getting rid of
they outlawed
alcohol.
Oh,
The
so
distribution
it's
and
actually
manufacture of
prohibition,
alcohol.
dirty street.
Prohibition could mean, it means alcohol, but it can mean any substance. There could be a
Yeah,
super prohibition.
it's the outlawing of a substance. In our case, in our country, it was alcohol.
Prohibition.
It didn't work very well.
Yeah,
But do you know in Russia, people wanted alcohol so bad that when it was outlawed and nobody manufactured it, people would drink varnish. That's the things they used to stain in
That's
polyurethane.
flammable. Just-
Yeah,
Varnish.
varnish, rubbing alcohol. Even today, people that can't afford to go buy alcohol, you'll see them going to Dollar General, they'll buy a mouthwash. Because they really desire that alcohol. No, so I think there's a place now that it can still be acceptable and okay. You know, basically, there's some things the rest of the world's gonna say, you can't do that and be a good Christian. But if you really know this word in and out, you can. And it's not gonna affect your walk. And I've used this example a dozen times, I'm gonna use it again. You're going to minister to somebody, and they're a vegetarian. You do not take them to a steak and ribs place. And if you go somewhere, you do not buy meat. Now, is there anything in here that says it's wrong to eat meat? No. There's not. It says it's perfectly acceptable. But because they might be a new Christian or somebody who's about to become a Christian, if you just, and they're vegetarian, that's their view, and you show up and order the porterhouse, now you could cause them to stumble. And you've sinned. You've caused them to stumble. And that's on your head. That's on your hands.
I didn't know you had a state named after your house.
Yeah, you didn't
What
know?
about food? Like,
Actually, it is my
people
house.
cooking food with liquor.
All
I think
fairness.
about the alcohol.
That's
My
what I
dad
feel
used to do the
like.
same thing. Alcohol it is almost unbelievable how quickly alcohol evaporates. It is cooked out. If you ever put rubbing alcohol on, it dries that fast.
I attempt, my cat gets up on my Xbox, right? And I found literally the only thing I can actually do that the cats really hate.
You're a cat lady.
The only thing I can, because I mean,
You got the
especially
lady
the
right
one that gets
part.
up there, but the cat hair of the Xbox is just like, so I've been doing my best to try and get her to stop. And I put the one thing I found that the cats hate being around at all ever is rubbing alcohol. So I put a little line of it around around my desk. Went back like 10 minutes later, and it was like gone, and the cat was sitting up there, and I had to hit her with the sign. She left.
Now, and I've had this happen. A friend of mine I work with, he works at Cameron Baptist. They had a barbecue out at the place. And so he brought his own barbecue sauce. It's Jack Daniels barbecue sauce. No alcohol. It's just Jack Daniels' name. It's his brand. Well, people go, oh, they were drinking alcohol. See that name. Now, have I had Jack Daniels barbecue or barbecue sauce? Yes, I have. Is it good? Yes, it is. There's a lot of those that have an alcoholic connotation to it, and there's no alcohol in it. They're very good. But even just buying a Jack Daniels barbecue sauce, now you know you've not sinned, right? You've done nothing wrong in any way, shape, or form, but it could cause somebody to stumble. And when you say, you know what, I'm willing to buy craft instead of Jack Daniels or Head Country, or Head Country's better. But they'll say craft since most people know craft. Instead of Jack Daniels barbecue sauce, because it might cause somebody to stumble, I'm going to buy the craft instead. You know what that really says? Even though I don't know who they are, I don't know who's watching, I love the people of this world more than I care about the taste of this
I
barbecue.
mean, really